Good afternoon, Norman, and thanks for joining us. Coming up on Norman Today, in our Eye on Crime segment, we'll give you an update on the Oklahoma papers that were stolen. Police say that they have cleared their original suspect, so the search continues.
And a fire on Monday in Walker Center forces residents to evacuate their rooms.
And in sports, we'll take a look at highlights from last night's championship game.
And we're in store for a beautiful afternoon. I'll have your details in the weather segment.
More news, weather, and sports
coming up on the next half hour of Norman Today.
3, 2, 1. Sound up. Zoom in, camera 2. Switch traffic. All right, we're ready to come back in. Ready, BT2. Take it.
Welcome back to Norman Today. I'm Rachael Hately.
And I'm Jennifer Crowder. Norman Public School students have a lot to celebrate. The school system has been nationally recognized for its fine arts program. First, both the U.S. President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities and the Arts Education Partnership have recognized Norman schools for excellence in overall arts education programs. The Norman Public School District was one of 83 school districts included in the study. The Norman Police Department and the Fraternal Order of Police will participate in the fundraising event for Special Olympics. Cops and Lobsters will be held at the Red Lobster on North Interstate Drive, April 10th. Police officers will help wait tables and ask patrons to leave a donation. Former OU and Dallas Cowboys football coach Barry Switzer will be the guest greeter during the dinner hours.
Terry Nichols, who is serving a life sentence for the conspiracy and deaths of 8 law enforcement officers in the Oklahoma City bombing, is now charged with first-degree murder in state court. Nichols could face the death penalty if convicted. District Attorney Bob Macy filed 163 counts against Nichols. Macy has long promised to file these state charges. Macy has also promised a state trial for bomber Timothy McVeigh, but he said recently he would proceed with the case against Nichols first. And at Eye on Crime today, investigators are still trying to determine the cause of a fire in Walker Center last night. Fire officials were called to the scene at about 8:45 p.m. Apparently, a small fire was smoldering in a metal trash can. The fire was extinguished quickly, but Walker Center residents have been evacuated just as a safety precaution. Residents who started the fire are still being questioned for their involvement, but officials say it looks like the fire was an accident. And now a follow-up on a story that we brought you last week. The OU Department of Public Safety has cleared one person of stealing 6,000 copies of the Oklahoma Daily. Last week, a thief got away with $1,500 worth of papers at about 5:30 a.m. in Adams Center. The papers contained McDonald's Monopoly game pieces. The original suspect of the crime was picked up by a surveillance camera, but Lieutenant Jeff Harp says this person has been questioned and cleared of the charges. The investigation for the real thief still continues.
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling 2 products which are particularly hazardous to children. The CPSC is recalling the infant car seat and carrier called On My Way. The seat's handle can unexpectedly release and cause the seat to flip forward. Model numbers 207 and 495 could be affected by this. Parents should also watch out for play yards that have protruding rivets. The CPSC says 8 toddlers may have died from strangulation when strings or loose clothing were caught on these rivets. The companies you see here are participating in a voluntary recall. A watered-down bill on unmarked police cars sailed to approval in the Oklahoma House on Monday, despite misgivings from the bill's politically scarred author. Republican Richard Phillips said he was disappointed with the Senate's revision of the bill, but said it was still a step in the right direction. The Senate amended the proposal to lift the ban and require that unmarked police cars across the state have uniform lighting kits to distinguish them from other vehicles. Also, the driver of unmarked police car is required to be in uniform, and the offense of impersonating an officer was upgraded from a misdemeanor to a felony.
April is Sexually Transmitted Disease Month. The latest estimates from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention indicate that 15 million Americans become newly infected each year. Yet STDs remain one of the most under-recognized health threats. Special attention this April is being given to genital herpes, which is caused by the herpes simplex virus type 2. Nationally, more than 45 million Americans, or 1 in 5 of the total adolescent and adult population, are thought to be infected. Pamphlets are available through the National STD Hotline to help people deal with the issues involving herpes and other STDs. 2 street projects will divert Norman's motorists starting this week. A bridge replacement operation on Lindsay Street between 48th Avenue Northeast and 60th Avenue Northwest began yesterday. And beginning tomorrow, Triple System will begin work on the installation of a new sanitary sewer line across Chautauqua Avenue just south of Eufaula Street. The work is expected to take about a week to complete.
And in our next segment, Laura Lemanski will tell us if these spring temperatures will continue.
Stay with us.
Someone once said, we all come into this world alone, and we leave the same way. But in between, we have the chance to connect and help each other, to find ways you can do something to connect with the people in your community, called La Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
I'm Javed Mashkuri. I joined the Peace Corps because it gave me an opportunity to do something worthwhile in a place that was much different than the place that I grew up and knew. When I got to Mali, it blew me away. My job was to train local masons and well diggers to construct safe drinking water wells. Peace Corps showed me what happens when you don't have access to health care. We were providing clean water, which to everyone there is health. And we try to do the same thing here by just providing health care. Compassion, perspective, a sense of adventure. Each and every day, those 3 things help me get through the day and make me a better doc. It's given me more self-confidence in dealing with patients and other people, and also helps me through the most difficult times because I've already been through a lot of those. I'd recommend the Peace Corps to anyone that was thinking about any job. It'll help them excel and be better at whatever they do. I think in Peace Corps you learn the value of service. You're going to want to be in that position to give service back.
Peace Corps volunteers, changing the world, changing America.
Welcome back. So Laura, what can we be expecting for the week's weather? Because I know it was warm kind of when I came in, but...
Yeah, I thought it was actually quite warm this morning, but it is expected to stay warm for the rest of the week.
Good.
Far above normal, actually 10 to 15 degrees above normal for this time of year. Current temperatures reflect that, though. It is currently 63 degrees here in Norman. Our humidity's at 71%, our pressure's at 30.19 inches of mercury and falling, and our winds are out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour. Almanacs shows that the current high, or the average high and low temperature for Norman, 67.43 this time of year. We were just around those numbers yesterday, a bit warmer, 47 on that low, 66 as a high. So that's right around there. This morning we recorded a low of 41 degrees, and we're expected to top out at 69, could even get into the lower 70s. The allergy report, a bit high for this time of year. Tree pollen is at a high category, grass is at moderate, and weed and mold are both coming in at a low category. U.S. surface map shows a low off the Gulf states, a very large area of precipitation associated with that. We also have another stationary front across much of the central United States and areas of rain associated with that, and another low coming in off the northwest Pacific states, and this is going to bring us some weather, wet weather this weekend. Highs today reflect the area of the cooler here out in the area of the low with that rain. We have 40s and 30s off in the Pacific states, 50s over the Rocky Mountains, 70s over much of the central United States, 60s off the East Coast, 80s in our southern Florida, and we do even have an area of 90s out in southern Arizona. So Oklahoma highs today, warmer up in our north, 70s off to the north, 73 in Ponca City, 70 here in Norman, 69 in Ardmore, and 70 in Lawton. So for today, it will be a great day to get outside, a high of 70 degrees. Our winds will be out of the southeast, 10 to 15 miles per hour. For tonight, it will be cloudy and warmer for this evening, 52 degrees. Our winds will die down, be out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. For tomorrow, break out the shorts. We will be in the mid-70s, 76 for a high. Winds out of the south, 20 to 30 miles per hour, with 20 to 30 miles per hour and gusting. So for the 5-day, again, Wednesday 76 degrees, 79 on Thursday, warm again. Friday and Saturday, chance of rain with a new system coming in. High of 67 on Friday, 65 on Saturday, cooling down with the system coming in the rain. Again, rain chance on Sunday, 63 degrees, but it does look like it'll be nice for the remainder of the work week, but wet for the weekend.
Ooh, that 79 looks great.
Yes, it does.
Coming up next on Norman Today, we'll give you an update on the NATO's airstrikes.
And some new information on the Melissa computer virus. Stay with us.
What would you do if you had to choose between the buffalo and the giraffes? Between a flower or an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Would you make the right choice? Would there be a right choice? Now there's a way to help. Not just one, but all these things. EarthShare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with. Ask your employer about workplace giving.
Out! Out! There's no ways out! It's impossible!
Actually, Coach, it's not. See, Jimmy had to travel a distance of 90 feet. He reached an average speed of 15 miles per hour. The ball left 2 seconds later than Jimmy and had to go 1.5 times the distance.
If education is important to you, talk to your child's school about raising academic standards. Call 1-800-38-BE-SMART for a free booklet and be a big league parent.
Thus enabling it to reach the destination at a much quicker rate.
Did you factor in the wind speed?
Welcome back to Norman Today. I'm Rachel Haitley.
And I'm Jennifer Crowder.
In this segment, we'll update you on the latest news about a copycat Melissa computer virus that could be affecting your computer.
And the NATO airstrikes pummel Yugoslavia. We're now a week into the NATO air campaign against Yugoslavia, known as Operation Allied Force, and NATO says it has achieved moderate success so far. Gina London has an update on the situation.
The mission of airstrikes moves into a new day. A diplomatic mission is underway in Belgrade. What will it take to bring peace? It appears to be a race against time. Can NATO airstrikes persuade Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic to agree to peace? Before Serb forces complete what many say is an effort to drive ethnic Albanians from their homes in Kosovo.
My grandmother's house is fired. The policeman, the army are shooting on the people. They are attacking the people.
On everything.
Everything.
International observers say the crisis forcing refugees into neighboring Montenegro, Macedonia, and Albania is worsening by the hour.
There's some very terrible things going on in Kosovo. Atrocities, crimes against humanity, mass murder, mass expulsion. Some terrible, terrible things are going on there, and that's why NATO is so determined to see this mission through.
And now the U.S. is adding 5 B-1B bombers into the mix as Phase 2 moves into around-the-clock missions. In an interview this morning, NATO spokesman said the wider range of targets is designed to cripple Serb aggression.
As we hit those tanks and artillery, as we turn the heat on President Milosevic's forces in Kosovo, it's going to be very difficult for those execution squads to operate, and we will be able progressively to reduce the level of killing.
Meantime, as I mentioned, Russian Prime Minister Yevgeny Primakov is now in Belgrade. He's expected to try to convince Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic to come to a deal on peace in order to stop the NATO airstrikes. In Washington, I'm Gina London. Now back to you.
Albania is getting the bulk of the refugees. Thousands are pouring into the town of Kukës in northeastern Albania. The town has become a refuge way station with buses taking new arrivals to accommodation centers around the country. The government says some 60,000 refugees have crossed into Albania, and it's warning that 100,000 more are on their way.
Russian President Boris Yeltsin reaffirmed the country's position to keep out of the Kosovo conflict, as well as staying on the path of economic reform. In an annual State of the Union address, Yeltsin, who appeared healthy, spoke Tuesday for 20 minutes before a joint session of the parliament, ministers, and judges. Noticeably absent was Prime Minister Yevgeny Primakov, who is in Belgrade in an effort to negotiate a halt to the NATO airstrikes. Yeltsin warned that the raids in Kosovo have put future nuclear disarmament
I gave all the necessary directions to Yevgeny Primakov, and I believe that his troops there will be able to solve much of this conflict. We are trying to prevent another split of the world, but our primary duty is to prevent a discord inside the country. The citizen of Russia.
Yeltsin has put the two nations in doubt. Computer programmers everywhere are scrambling to eradicate Melissa, and the FBI has joined the search for the source of this fast-spreading computer virus. The bug does not harm PCs or data, as far as anyone knows, but it can clog office email systems. Melissa spreads through infected Microsoft Word 97 and Word 2000 documents attached to email marked Important Message. When the email is open, the virus sends itself to as many as 50 names in your email address book. Each could unwillingly send it to another 50. Until an antidote is found, experts say you can protect yourself simply by not opening the file attachment. If you have already received the virus, visit our OU website to clean your computer. Also be aware that copycats of the Melissa virus are popping up in emails. This virus is also distributed via email, and the subject line claims the message is from AllNet and Fred Cohen. This virus is even more dangerous than Melissa. If you receive a suspicious email like this, delete it immediately. We'll keep you updated on other copycat viruses.
Starting tomorrow, Amazon.com is going to offer auctions on the internet as the company tries to be all things to its consumers and profitable for investors. Bruce Francis reports.
With more revenue streams, Amazon is getting wider and potentially closer to profitability. Already the leader in books and music online, Amazon.com is going to try auctions as well, taking on companies like eBay, Ubid, and OnSale.
Amazon.com has over 8 million buyers today, and those 8 million buyers want to buy everything from books, music, and video, all the way up to consumer electronics and collectibles, and probably even Beanie Babies.
Amazon has a reputation for great customer service at a time when eBay is under scrutiny from regulators looking into alleged fraud and trafficking of illegal goods. Amazon will offer a $250 guarantee against fraud.
At the end of the day, the winning attributes might be that brand, that allegiance, that trust, and it also will clearly be the number of things up for auction and what quality they are and the way the auction is run.
Amazon is still losing money and has been casting about for businesses that carry fatter profit margins than its core books and music businesses, like its recent investment in drugstore.com. And the company says that auctions are more profitable since they generate fees and have no inventory risk.
The auction space will probably do a great deal to help Amazon's bottom line. They don't have the costs associated with fulfillment or with holding inventory. This is a business you can quickly turn into a profitable one.
And Amazon isn't limiting itself to what people want. The company also announcing that for an undisclosed sum, it's acquiring Pets.com, which sells pet food and paraphernalia on the internet. Bruce Francis, CNN Financial News, New York.
Coming up next on Norman Today, David Collier will take a look at last night's championship game.
Stay with us.
Kids. For 1 hour a week, you leave your concrete world of flip phones and faxes and talk to 20 kids about how business works. They will question everything, but those 20 kids will talk to 20 more. So by Saturday, what you said on Thursday could be halfway around their world. You get to make a difference. Could just make the rest of your week pretty dull. That's the new JA, teaching kids how business works.
We want to see our children succeed, but setting easy goals for our kids creates the toughest obstacle they'll ever face, because succeeding in the real world isn't easy. Help the effort to raise standards in America's public schools. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE.
Welcome back, everybody. For the first time ever, college basketball's national championship resides in the state of Connecticut. The Huskies shocked the world last night by beating the mighty Duke Blue Devils 77-74. Let's go to the second half. Jim Calhoun looking for his first NCAA title, all tied up, and All-American Richard Hamilton takes over, hit the pull-up jumper there, and then the shot over Carrawell here, and there's still more. Richard Hamilton watching with the wide-open three. He'll drain it. UConn up 6 now, and Elton Brand's going to block the shot here, I promise. There it is. He'll block the shot, and watch the big man run the length of the court, and he'll lay it in for 2. More Hamilton, though. He won't go away. With 3:30 left, Hamilton will hit the 3 here, putting UConn up by 5. But Trajan Langdon will answer with a 3 of his own. Langdon led Duke with 25 points. Duke down 1, under 10 seconds left. Langdon drives to the hoop here. Ricky Moore with a good defense, and Langdon is called with traveling. Duke down 3 now with just 5 seconds left. Langdon will try to do it himself. He'll take it the length of the court, but he'll fall down, and that's it. UConn wins by the final of 77-74. This is the first NCAA championship for the Huskies, and no one could be more happier than this man right here, holding the trophy, Jim Calhoun.
When the kids were saying they wanted Duke instead of Michigan State, I kind of said, maybe the wise head, but knows better. But the kids knew better. They knew that they were going to win, they were going to beat the best, and they did beat the best tonight. And as of this moment, we're the best team in the country.
Down to the last play, like I said, I knew it was him against me. I mean, my will to win was going to take over, and it did. All right.
And it's spring in Norman, so you know what that means. Yes, it's spring football began yesterday, and Norman new head coach Bob Stoops looks on as the Sooners started spring practice With basic offensive and defensive drills, players also worked on individual position drills during the practice, including junior college transfer Josh Heupel here. Heupel is the #1 quarterback on this spring's depth chart. After the practice, Stoops said he thought the first day went well. The Sooners will continue spring practice on Wednesday. Practice for today has been canceled. The first open practice is scheduled for Monday. The OU baseball team will be in action today, or tonight rather. The Sooners will take on Arkansas Little Rock tonight at 6:35 at the L. Mitchell Baseball Park. The Sooners are coming off a weekend series against Kansas. OU was able to pick up 2 wins in the 3-game series. Big 12 women's gymnastics season awards were handed out yesterday. OU gymnast Amber McCracken received the highest honor, voted as the Big 12 Gymnast of the Year. During the season, McCracken was named Big 12 Gymnast of the Week 3 times and won the all-around in 9 of the Sooners' 11 meets. She also set 5 career records and 2 school records this season. There was limited action last night in the NBA with only 4 games scheduled. Let's go to the scoreboard. The Atlanta Hawks sneak past the Pacers with an 83-82 win as Atlanta's Grant Long hits 2 free throws to end the game and clinch the win for the Hawks. The Sonics got 20 points from Detlef Schrempf and Gary Payton in Seattle's 109-101 win over the Mavericks. And a big surprise here as the Clippers lose again, and they dropped their record to 3-25 on the season. And finally, the Lakers breezed by Vancouver with 24 points behind Glenn Rice. And finally, last night, the great one Wayne Gretzky surpassed Gordie Howe as the leading scorer in professional hockey history. In the game, Gretzky scored in the 3rd period to give the Rangers the win 3-1 over the Islanders. Gretzky scored the goal. It was his 1,072nd goal of his career.
That's awesome. So who were you going for last night in the game?
It didn't really matter. I just wanted a good game, and we got that. That was
I think I had picked a team.
Yeah, I kind of wanted the underdogs, UConn to win. Coming up next on Norman Today, Mark Leff will give us This Day, This Century.
Stay with us.
Someone once said, we all come into this world alone, and we leave the same way. But in between, we have the chance to connect and help each other, to find ways you can do something to connect with the people in your community. Call La Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
I'm Javed Mashkuri. I joined the Peace Corps because it gave me an opportunity to do something worthwhile in a place that was much different than the place that I grew up and knew. When I got to Mali, it blew me away. My job was to train local masons and well diggers to construct safe drinking water wells. Peace Corps showed me what happens when you don't have access to health care. We were providing clean water, which to everyone there is health. And we try to do the same thing here by just providing health care. Compassion, perspective, a sense of adventure. Each and every day, those 3 things help me get through the day and make me a better doc. It's given me more self-confidence in dealing with patients and other people, and also helps me through the most difficult times because I've already been through a lot of those. I'd recommend the Peace Corps to anyone that was thinking about any job. It'll help them excel and be better at whatever they do. I think in Peace Corps you learn the value of service. You're going to want to be in the position to give service back.
Peace Corps volunteers, changing the world, changing America.
On March 30th, 1964, a sight not seen on Earth for more than a century. 2 volcanoes erupting at the same time in Hawaii. Kilauea began belching smoke and lava 5 days after Mauna Loa's first major eruption since 1950. On March 30th, 1965, a car bomb outside the U.S. Embassy in Saigon killed a woman secretary and a Navy petty officer inside, 15 Vietnamese on the street, and injured nearly 200 people, among them U.S. Ambassador Alexis Johnson. Exactly a year later, the Federal Bureau of Investigation rounded up 33 men, including several fathers, allegedly involved in a forgery scheme to evade the military draft. And a young man trying to impress actress Jodie Foster shot and wounded President Ronald Reagan March 30th, 1981. Secretary of State Alexander Haig tried to calm the nation with a legal lesson on succession, just in case.
Constitutionally, gentlemen, you have the president, the vice president, and the Secretary of State in that order. And should the President decide he wants to transfer the helm,
his list left a couple of people out.
As of now, I am in control here in the White House, pending return of the Vice President.
Mark left CNN.
For all your news, weather, and sports,
join us tomorrow for Norman Today.